I did my big photo shoot of the day. I'm trying to find another place for my camera. I have more camera problems than anybody I know. But I finished my big photo show, and I'm here, and I'm gonna go looking for some friends that want to get their tarot cards done. I guess now. Hopefully, I find a couple. I think it's fun to do tarot card readings personally. I enjoy it. I like to try to better people's lives. So, I don't know. It usually gets off around 7, but sometimes the restaurant never lets him leave. And I feel bad because he works so much because he doesn't want me at work that much. So, I guess being over here makes me feel less bad. And I get to help people out with their life a little. If I find a person or two, I figure in all the millions of people over here, there gotta be some people. I mean, chances are you're gonna hit a couple. So I figure I'll check the ocean. I call it checking the ocean at certain times. Sometimes it's really good for certain streams. It doesn't have to be a tarot card reading. I mean, I was watching Ghost Hunters earlier, and I think that would be fun to be a ghost hunter. I'm not gonna lie. I think if I had to have a career, because I don't want to go back to college again, I'm just kind of done with going back to college. You just get really tired of it and it loses its flair after a while. But I feel a ghost hunter would be fun. I would like to end my life on my resume. Michelle, the ghost hunter. That would be fun. Maybe if I ever get to be a big time. Oh, hi. How are you? I figure I'd come on and till the husband comes home. Because then he likes to get his booty shaking music going and smoke roll a big fat blunt. That's what he does after the restaurant, so I'm not gonna lie. At least I could say these things over here. I can't say things like that over on Facebook, but I can over here. But that's what he is. That's why my dog is Chong. He's Cheech and Chong is Chong. So that's pretty much the origin of his name, and my husband named him. I did not name him. He actually was supposed to be a present for my husband. I got it for his birthday. So, and he ended up where he decided he had provide this lavish life for us. So he's been working himself to death, and this is how things go. And it's usually me and Chong, and I became his mom, and his dad is his dad. But he does spend time with them when he's on his one off day, and he takes them out in the morning and stuff. So he spends morning time with them. It's like he's our child. In a weird way, it really is. He's just our child that we don't have to send to school. That's what it pretty much comes down to. If I didn't know better, I would have known I had another baby. But Chong is a good dog. He's actually calmed down a lot now that he's 2. He doesn't do a lot of the stuff that he did when he was a puppy. I mean, people warned me about puppy activity, but wow. They said that dogs are more loyal if you stay with them through their terrible time. And I had him pretty much since he was 2 going on 3 months old. So, And we went through this terrible time together, me and Chong. And I think it's just the stage where they don't want to listen, and we went through it together, and now we're more bonded. So the trainer said it's better that way. So, but I figured why not make him my service dog, so I did. Full service. I'm hoping to be able to get him in a restaurant because I really can't take him into an expensive restaurant because he's not even allowed to stare at people while they're eating. So they're very strict on these rules when you have a service dog in a restaurant. So we haven't got to that point, me and Chong. He does go in Walmart. He's very good in Walmart. And I trained him at the gas station at the end of my street for the store. And then the funny thing about it is he's a big dog. Obviously, you guys see him on the thing. But when he goes to the store, it's these tiny aisles. And he used to always knock over the honey buns all the time. And it was funny because he would feel bad. And the store owner thought it was cute because he felt so bad about these honey buns. And Chong would, with his teeth, try to pick them up, but it wasn't his fault because it's a real small store. But that's how I trained them because a lot of places won't let you train their dogs there, especially the bigger stores. Sometimes they get real weird about it, so I just asked the owner at the store. Oh, I'm sure you would. Is this a sexual thing? I mean, I'm not used to all the sexual things, but thank you, but I'm married. But anyways, I was training Chong in the store, and he did really good. Oh God, you're too much, way too much for me. I'm a very boring person. This is pretty much my enjoyment: knitting, live streaming, and cleaning. These are my gears, and writing in between time. But this is what I do. And I think I'm getting better at it. As time goes on, I do get a little better. I'm definitely getting more people in my stream. And I'm learning to edit, which I'm really kind of proud of myself because I didn't know how to edit well. But I've taught myself to edit pretty good. So now I do pretty good promotionals because it's expensive to get people to do a promotional. And then they're all up in your business, and there's some kind of money exchange. So I figured I might as well learn to edit since I'll have to do the cover art of my book. But I now that I kind of know how to do like good graphic editing, I don't think it'd be hard because I've been kind of lazy with some of my reels. I used to I've been so busy, I guess, live streaming. I used to try to think of the AI pictures and put together some really cool mystical thing and generate some nice pictures and then put it in a reel, but I haven't even had energy for that. It's just been a lot. Work's killing me. I can't wait to leave them, but they won't let me leave. It seems the longer you stay with a job, the longer they will not let you leave. And it's crazy. It's like I want to leave and they won't let me. And the residents get angry because they don't want me to leave either. But eventually, people have to leave places. But I don't know. I'm waiting on a couple more dentist appointments because I went and used my medical insurance for what I needed for the year. And before I quit full time, I want to get all of my dental done. And then switch over to another job because then I'm looking at insurance packages. I don't know, maybe by that time someone will buy us out. They're talking about a buyout at my work. And I'm excited because honestly, I I used to have good health insurance and now I don't. But the new owner doesn't. I mean, he owned hotels and different things, so I don't think he cares about a nursing home. But I'm hoping if somebody buys us out, I can go back to my regular insurance. But then by that time, I might even have a raise, and then it's going to get even harder to leave. I guess in life, we're all a slave to money. I want to leave, but they keep giving me more money, and it's just like it's a wicked circle that keeps going around and never ends. So I don't know. I'm thinking about maybe staying there part time and maybe do 312 somewhere else, and maybe just work 2 days a week and that's it. That's what I'm thinking. Because if I go down to 2 days, I think I'll be happier. I'll move around. I won't have to be in this crazy assignment where I have really heavy people all the time because people are idiots that I work with. So they send me with the biggest idiots, and no one says nothing to me, and I just tell people what I need, and then they go away. This is how the whole day starts and ends. And then I think by the end of the day, I love my patients, but I hate the people. It puts me in a one of those moods where I'm like, don't talk to me. So that's probably why I like live streaming because I don't have to deal with medical issues. It's very stressful dealing with medical issues, especially when you got residents that are sick, residents going out. I mean, it's hectic. And then they're real picky. They only want certain people. And constantly, if they don't like what you did or one thing you said or did, they're calling state. This is what they do. So I would not recommend medical unless you could deal with all like a lot of angry family members all the time. And you could be just doing your job and because of what the workers before you was doing, that's when you get hit with everything and it's just like I wasn't even there. There's a lot of times they'll ask me about something I'm like I was literally not even there. I was like I cut down my days. Then they look at me like, oh, they're starting to realize that maybe I'm not crazy. Things do happen, and no one ever believed me because everybody be hiding and not doing what they're supposed to do. Now that I cut my days down and had all these job offers, everybody's, if I say something, they're like, oh, it seems when you start getting better opportunities in your life, this is when these kind of things happen to you. I'm realizing that. And it's nice to, just talk about other stuff and not, wounds and people not being able to breathe, which is the reason why I'll never be a nurse. I am never going to resuscitate anybody. Unless it's an emergency situation, I'm on the street and everybody's family's crying, maybe. But I will not. I'll be a social worker first before that happens. They all got to go in a room, and I literally was flipping out going down the hallway when this happened one day, and I screamed. I don't know these damn codes when things like this happens. You see somebody that looks dead, what are you gonna do? So I'm like, oh fuck, what do I do? So I go down the hall and I'm just like, everybody needs just to get the fucking get in here now. And they look at me like, because I'm just saying the f bomb and everything. No, I didn't give a fuck. I did not give a fuck. I said, so and so is dead. Everybody needs to get in there with Calvary. Next thing I know, someone else made the call. Thank God, because you can't putz around when people look dead. They all got in there, and I felt bad as hell. Thought he died because I didn't get there soon enough, but somehow he lived. And I just I'm like, you guys made him live. His skin was kind of hard. Well, how did you do that? It was like they had some necromancy stuff going on in that room. I can't do it. These are the things you got to deal with when you're an LPN or an RN. So this one can't do it. I will let them know when they look dead and let them go in like a herd of buffaloes, but I will not be the one that's actually doing this CPR. I I don't mind taking care of the patients. I don't. I don't mind getting their food ready and stuff, but I will not do that. There's so much liability. So much. And it's a lot. That's why, honestly, this is a huge break from what I got to do 4 days a week. Huge. No matter what, I can't get sued coming on a live stream. I go to work, I can get sued. That's the bottom line. Every day. When you're in the medical field, every single day you walk in there and you don't do your job correctly or to the T, now that COVID's here with all their new rules, you can lose your job, you can lose your title. And these nurses are paying $40,000 to $50,000 a year for their education. And for some stupid incident, it could be gone in a flash. You can't go in there uh, without taking care of business. So if you sit there and your aides aren't doing their job, you gotta get in there. I do my job because it's the right thing to do. And honestly, I feel if you're taking care of children and elderly and you do something that's not right, that's like really bad karma right there. I think that's close to murder karma because what's more innocent than elderly going back to their innocence? And then on top of that, impending death. There's nothing worse than being on the bad end of that. So, I will say that about it. I always check my patients with, what does it say? Oh, that was an old one. I always check to make sure they're alive. That's the first thing I do. I don't care if they're screaming. I don't care what they're doing. I just want to see if there's a damn heartbeat when I come through the damn door. Because I want to think that would be a most important thing when you come in an assignment, and not a lot of people will do it. Because these are where mistakes are made. And it's very important because if you have a family member and they were laid dead for like an hour or so before you were notified and things could be taken care of, it's going to be hard for the funeral people to get them in that nice sitting position and everything because of rigor mortis. So, I mean, these are the parts of medical people really don't think about, but it's true. And when these kind of things aren't reported, it looks horrible upon you and the facility. And these are bottom lines and guidelines because you got to treat everyone just like it would be your grandma or your grandpa. Yeah, they can get wild. I feel like when you're younger, you're more carefree, and when you're older, you're carefree. I feel you turn into Just like that song, Return to Innocence. Before you die, you return to innocence. And a lot of people do because they get so humbled because they're sick, or they get Alzheimer's and they just forget about the time in between. And in the end, they remember all the good stuff from when they were younger. So I guess in a sense, it's like a full circle, you can say. But that's why I think hospice would be good for me, because it seems I do really well with hospice patients. And I feel it might be better because I could maybe even just go to their house or something. That's what I was thinking. Or just go back taking care of kids again. I don't know. I did like taking care of the kids. I did take care of kids before I went there. And I liked it. I went to all their doctor's appointments because they had special needs and stuff. And sometimes you need a medical professional that could talk medical lingo, especially before they go to surgery. Because I've noticed doctors, they talk a different way, and they sometimes appear stuck up because sometimes they are very egotistical doctors. I'm not gonna lie, but they look down or they treat you like a child if you don't know their medical language. Now, if you're in nursing or anything and you're talking to them in medical language, they're a little bit more lightened up and looser with you. But who goes to school and learns medical terminology unless they're in the medical field? But I had to go to these doctor's appointments because I had to be a translator for the facility. Because when we say, somebody has chest problems, we got to say we'll just say something. They had heart palpitations and stuff. Here's all the paperwork. And when they relay the medicine, even if you're not the nurse, you got to be able to talk to them in an intelligent manner so you don't look stupid because then they think the facility hires people of non intelligence. So that was my job for about 10 years. I mean, maybe there's another job like that out there for me. I'm thinking just because I'm getting worn down from pulling 300 pound people, maybe it might be a nice break for me. Because I feel I should be able to service who I can in this world medically till I just can't do it no more. Because I feel there's just not a lot of good medical people in the world, and I don't think there is. And being in the medical field, I kind of see things, I pick up on things when I go to all of my doctor's appointments for stupid things. I'm not dying of anything huge. I don't have cancer or anything. I'm okay. It's just dumb things. I go in because I got a chip on my tooth. And the next thing I know, they say I need these deep cleanings. And then after that, they say, oh, you got a cavity or two. And then next thing you know, you're 6 months in on these dental appointments. And then you figure you might as well get it done while you're working at a certain place under certain insurance because you kind of need it. So you're just talking to all kinds of doctors all the time. This has been my life for the Zoom for 6 months, talking to all these different doctors about all this different crazy stuff that has to be done. But God forbid, they do it when it's convenient for you. So I had to take off 2 days out of the week all the time and cut down in days to make all these appointments. Because it was a lot easier than to keep asking, oh, I'm going to take this personal day, I'm going to take that personal day. It was just a lot easier because doctors, I don't know why. Sometimes they're not very flexible with their appointments, and they don't care if you have a job or don't have a job. But obviously, you need the job for the insurance. It's like playing poker, going to these dentists and doctors. I just realized, I mean, just going through all these private doctors, they drive me insane. So hopefully, I'm hoping in 6 months I can leave this job and then maybe just do something else that makes me happy. I don't know what that'll be. I mean, maybe one day I might be interesting enough to get over 500 subscriptions. I don't know. It could be, could not be. But honestly, I'm just a medical worker that's trying a different career on. I figure if I can make enough little side money, this always could be extra money for me if I needed gas or something. Something like that. And it's fun. But maybe one day, and maybe 5, 10 years, maybe I could be a ghost hunter instead. Because by that time, maybe I might want to retire from medical. I don't know. I know I gotta wait till two people die before I leave that place because I promised my one resident Paul I wouldn't leave before she died. Then I told her she loves Preparation H all the time. So I told her I'm going to her funeral and I'm sticking Preparation H in her coffin. But the thing is I'm her favorite, and she always tells me, "Don't you leave me." And it's like, oh my god, how much more can you take in one day? And I'm a big softie when it comes to somebody being all that cute. Don't leave me. And I told her, I was like, well, when you go, I'm going to stuff all that Preparation H in your coffin, and then I'm finding me a different job. But that's kind of how it happened with the kids' home. They were selling it and moving the kids to Pennsylvania. And obviously, I don't live in Pennsylvania. And it would be one hell of a drive, but they said I could go with the kids, but I had to go to Pennsylvania. So I had to say goodbye to them, and I was thinking about going to other kids' home, and then just ended up at the elderly home. And honestly, through the years, they were always had good benefits. I can't complain there. And if I needed something, I made good friends over there. And if I needed somebody's always there. So it's not horrible in that way. It's just sometimes I need a break. And then sometimes they hire some real lazy people and because they're worried about staffing and this and that, they just have me do this really hard assignment, but they give me help and it's exhausting. I just get tired of people that feel they're privileged because they talk to this person or this person. I talk to the boss all the time. I tell her I'm putting my 2 weeks in, and she tells me I'm not allowed to leave. I mean, I talk to her too, but they act like they're the only ones that talk to her, and it just gets very tiring. But maybe, once I get situated, whenever this dental surgeon does my third deep clean and takes out the one tooth. But then after that, I gotta go to the other dentist because he just does these other things. So you got these specialty dentists now too. I see a specialist because of the deep cleanings, and then they send me. He said he could take out the one tooth, and then the other one does cavities. So my chip will be the last thing that they finish in a year of appointments. This is what you got to go through sometimes with insurance. So keep up on your dental work, please, because it will fuck you in the end. And believe me, dentures are way more expensive. Way more expensive. You're actually better off just getting a decent dental plan and getting it all taken care of, and then you don't got to worry about dentures because they're a pain in the ass. They really are. I had to deal with them cleaning people's dentures. You want to eat regular food. I wouldn't think food would be that great if you're because all your taste buds are by your gums too. I don't know. I just don't like the idea of them, so I don't mind investing in my teeth because I want to be eating food for real food for as long as I possibly can. And I guess working around people that are so close to death or seeing their death and all that good stuff makes you appreciate your life a little more. Because it really does. Seeing how what families go through when ma dies or God forbid their sister's sick, has cancer, whatever, it's one of the moments in people's lives they tend to never forget. It's always people's first love and the death of somebody very important. They'll remember every moment around that event. I mean, when my mom died, I remember every moment of that event and I will never forget it. So sometimes, if I guess the event is momentous enough, even on your deathbed, you won't forget that event. And I think death brings out the worst or best in us. Birth is supposed to bring out the best in us if we get a child in this life, but sometimes that doesn't matter to some people. But death is supposed to be the same. That's why you're supposed to celebrate the remembrance of somebody that died, and that's why there's funerals. And I really think funerals are the best idea anybody's ever came up with. I would like to own a funeral home. I think I would be the perfect person for a funeral home. I wouldn't mind having the house next to the funeral home, so all I gotta do is go, and I think I could embalm a body. I'm pretty sure I can. I just would have somebody in there showing me and training me. And if I owned the whole funeral home, I could just. There's certain days I can work and he can work. And these things wouldn't bother me. But I think if I ever get any kind of money, I'm going to have a funeral home. And I'm going to have it for dogs and for humans. I'm going to give dog funerals, any kind of pet funerals. I'm going to do pet funerals and human funerals. Because that's one thing I feel strongly about is the way and manner people are thought of when they die. And I believe that people should be remembered and celebrated in a certain way. What the heck? Just keep finding those little things over here. Okay. I've been on a cleaning spree today. But yeah, these are one of my aspirations and dreams. And I don't know what I'm going to name it. I don't know. I think Hopeful Souls would be good for a funeral home. And I would have the best funerals. I have such good funeral ideas. I would love it. And honestly, that's a business that is always going to keep going. I mean, there are a lot of deaths in this world that happen. And you figure if a child dies, they're going to be celebrated more than others because of their age. And then you have kids killing kids, so you got more people coming. And people seem to always find money for a funeral. See, I would not charge a lot of money. I really wouldn't. I would if I knew they were a low budget family and didn't they weren't rich, I would just have lower rates. I would just keep lower rates so everybody could bury their loved ones, even if they were poor. I couldn't give them like a 5 day funeral. I would have to have somebody that was paying like 10, 20,000 out. They would have to have more days. But I feel that I would profit in that area. Maybe if I can get enough hits on my book once my son does my taxes, because he's giving me his computer. I want to get my book because I already wrote it, and I could probably do the graphic art easily because I already know kind of what I want for it. So maybe if I get enough money from the book, I'll get me a funeral home. I think this has been like the best idea I've had all day. But I think of these random thoughts, and the husband said that he does not want to look like I wouldn't mind living next to a cemetery. I think if I got a I my dream is to have a house next to the cemetery and then have the funeral home right in front of it. And if I own the land by the cemetery part also, that's big business there. And then, but the only thing is, if he had kids or whatever, they'd be playing in the cemetery. But to me, this wouldn't be weird. To him, there was a big no. He said that we would have to invest in something else. He said it's too creepy for him. And to me, that is that. I do believe they visit and watch over just to see, but they don't have as much they don't have as much leeway because they're not here. I mean, just because they say things, it's because generally they know more things because they float around and some don't want to leave until someone else dies and just different issues. But just knowing that makes me feel better in my death because I want to linger too. When I'm dead, I want to linger on all the ones I love and stay alive till they die. Because I feel that I wouldn't mind being in the in between for a while. I know that sounds weird, but why go to heaven right away when you could stalk your kids? I mean, I know I can't haunt them or nothing, but if you feel like it'd be a better time to go there, just to know there's options like that out there makes me feel a whole lot better about that. And to know that I'll have Roxanol and die in a hospital even makes it better. So, to me, that's how I feel. But he does not want to live next to a cemetery. I think it would be great. The land's always really, just because the creepy factor, it's cheap. You can get a lot for under 100,000 if there's a cemetery on it sometimes. The whole creepy factor, always comes in. If you want to buy a house that somebody was murdered in, it's cheaper because people feel funny about living somewhere where a family was murdered. And honestly, I've lived in a haunted house before. Yeah, you see things, but it already happened. It's not like it's coming. It's not like it's coming back to say hello. It's just flickers of what happened. But it does creep some people out. And some people don't like it. To me, I didn't care. I had cheap rent. The Amityville Horror, I was a fan of that movie. Is it a real haunted? I don't know. It could have been just that guy. Sometimes when people have schizophrenia, they see demons a lot, and demons tell them to do things. I've dealt with schizophrenia. I guess that's how I know that sometimes my hunches might be helpful to people with tarot cards because working with mental health and stuff like that, I do recognize certain stuff, but maybe they say the guy was, I don't know, they never checked him for a mental disease. And in like the 60s, I think it was when all this happened. I don't think all the education was there on schizophrenia. The Amityville Horror could have just literally been somebody that was schizophrenic because I took care of schizophrenic people before, and they can come up with some elaborate things. So, I don't know. I guess it's up in the air about that. So, I would. They said that when I read like a documentary on it. It was on, I forgot where it was, Netflix or something. The people that bought the house after that never seen anything, and they never felt haunted. And it's been changed ownership like twice. So I'm thinking that it wasn't a true haunting. I'm thinking the guy had schizophrenia. So that could have been. But I was very interested in that because there was a hot focus of that time, the Amityville hauntings. And a lot of times, mentally ill people do appear possessed and stuff. And it is true. The Catholic Church, that's why when they were doing all those exorcisms, the first thing, and it is true story, Vatican City would have you checked for mental illness. They actually had doctors on their payroll, and they would go over there, and it's absolutely true. The Roman Catholic Church is some of the biggest powerhouse of churches ever. A lot of the presidents are Catholic and they don't pay taxes. That's what gets me. They bitch about everyone else to pay taxes. Vatican City has never paid taxes. And they're huge. They make so much money. So much money. And they commercialize a lot of stuff. I don't know. I guess we'll see with the new age, see how many Catholics are going to come. It's less and less Catholics these days. But Vatican City has a lot of wealth, I tell you. I think they may be one of the wealthiest people in the world. Oh, hi, Emily. I'm good. I'm just waiting for the husband to get home. They like to kidnap him at the restaurant, and he never gets out in time. You want a reading, Emily? I have my card still. Alright, hang on. Are you still answering more questions today? Yeah, I'll always answer the questions. I just knit until I get a question because not everybody wants a tarot reading, and I get it. That's just the way life is. Sometimes you want a cheeseburger, sometimes you don't, and it is what it is. Life is variety. But I got my cards if you want to do a reading. That's why I came on here because some of you guys come between 7 and 8 a lot. A lot of my usual crowd. So I try to come when you guys are available. What are my crush Mason's thoughts and feelings right now? Alright. I will give you his thoughts and feelings. It's a miracle. Well, yeah, about you. Well, I'm glad you're decisive about detail because sometimes I need that extra detail to get the best response. So thank you for clarifying that. I really do appreciate it. Oh, the husband just clocked out. So I'll have time to give you a good reading before he gets home. Alright. Let's see here. Alright. His immediate past feelings about you are full moon of Virgo, which is romantic. And he feels you're the woman for him. His current, he did get a gibbous moon. He's trying to achieve a goal in his life that he wanted to have done when he had a relationship. Like, somewhat like housing, a little more money related issues. So, but he is in his love sector. He does want you. He did get for his immediate future that his dreams, though they're big, they're non-practical. So he's trying to impress you with money and stuff, and he's trying to make it to where you guys could stay together. But that's a lot to be on someone's plate, honestly. So maybe be patient with him. I feel that he loves you and he cares about you, but he gets frustrated when he feels like he can't be the person he wanted to be for you. Because sometimes my husband does that because he goes nuts because he doesn't feel we have enough money. Even though we have enough money, he doesn't feel we have enough. So sometimes he goes through these spurts and then talks to his boss, and then he ends up getting a raise and all these little things. But when men really love you, they kind of do that. And then sometimes he acts like he hates me sometimes, some days, and then he apologizes, and it's all because he's worried about bringing me and Chong more money and making us happy and just stuff like that. And sometimes it appears grouchy. And I feel that your crush here gets grouchy when he's frustrated or has a lot of stress. And that grouchiness can be, I always, I used to always think that my husband was angry all the time, and he wasn't. He was stressed out. So sometimes this appears as the grouchiness appears a different way. And I feel that. Well, just because they know we like them for who they are doesn't mean what they want to do for us. Even though I already have a job and I have things of my own, my husband wants us to have better things. And it's not necessary for me, but this is when people love you, this is what they do. I say just roll with the punches, just be there for him, and just kind of let him know that you don't care about the material things, and the fact that he wants to do that to make you happy means he cares. So I do sense he's a really good person. So maybe just reassure him that you like him for what he is, because he's gonna not be able to. There's a goal he's trying to do, and it's too much at one time. And I'm always a person that says whatever goal you could put out there for yourself, go and achieve it, but you got to do it in stages. Just like I have my little goals. My whole thing is about goals. So he has his goals, and his goals are good goals. But maybe if he can get half of the goals done while you guys are together, you can guys can help finish the rest of the goals. Because once you get older and stuff, you can invest your money. There's a lot of stuff you can do, and some of that stuff takes time. It really does. And I get that people want it really bad for a good reason, but sometimes you can't rush it. Just like my dreams of getting a funeral home. I can't rush this. Because if I was to get popular, I think that I'm just going to stick with the best topic I have, death. And I deal with this so much every day. I'm just buying me a funeral home. I probably won't be able to buy the house next to it or live in the cemetery because of the husband, but this is kind of what I want to do. But I have weird goals. Some people have different kinds of goals. Mine are just weird and out there. But that's what makes us all special and different. But he very much cares about you, and he wants things to be perfect, and that's good. That means they're good father material. So you gotta look at that too. If they like to work and they're always trying to perfect something here and there, if you get pregnant, they're good father material right there. I hope I do too. I don't know what my goal is here. I kind of just realized I needed to try to communicate more. And in a world that you barely see people, you're at work and coming back home and doing stuff in your house, how are you supposed to communicate? So I'm not even sure what this goal is I have, but I don't know. I guess now it's 500 subscribers, because I guess that's what you have to do to make anything on YouTube. So maybe if I can be a counselor of some sort with my cards, that's good enough for me. And then maybe I can get my funeral home and call it Chong the Dog Funeral Home. Who knows? That would be fun. Because I don't think I would have a club. I couldn't, or I don't know if I would, if I opened up a club, how popular that would be, Chong the Dog Club. I was thinking eventually, after I got 500 subscribers, about getting Chong the Dog t shirts. Because Chong's awfully cute. And I used to always put him in front of the TV all the time. The dog movies where the dogs, they have them talking. like humans, and acting, like the Snow Buddies and all the buddy movies. So he really honestly gets angry if you don't get on the camera every day doing something, even if it's a hello post. He has to. He thinks he's a dog actor. It's hilarious. That's how I can get those good poses because my dog thinks he's famous. And I hate to bust his bubble, but there's these dogs out there driving cars. And he sleeps and he does do cute things, but there's dogs out there that make him look lazy. But he thinks he's a dog star, so that's why sometimes he does good poses. But he is a good boy, and he does try. He does strut around, and if I tell him to look a certain way, he will. So I'm just taking that for a win-win because I'm not a dog trainer. Not by any stretch of the imagination. I had to go to a dog trainer to try to get advice because this is how much I am not a dog trainer. So I don't want anybody, thinking that I'm saying I'm a dog trainer because I'm not. Because I would be way more knowledgeable than I am. These guys are amazing. They have these pack walks, and you bring your dog there, and these dog trainers can tell you exactly what you need to do to the minute. And they tell you all about the treats and everything. They're just amazing. Oh, you like the dog? Everyone loves Chong. Chong is really chill. He's more human than dog. I don't really have him around any dogs, and I got him so young. He literally just thinks we're his family, and that's it. He really wasn't around his mom much, and he almost died when I got him. So we just got we just got real close. But I have had him to the one trainer, and he did really good with Chong. And I was actually kind of low in money, and he gave Chong his prong collar for free when he was really bad. When I could get him to walk right, he took the prongs out and fixed them to where it was just sideways. And he only charged me $10 for the pack walk. I mean, he was a really good trainer, and he takes rescues like the pit bulls and stuff, and he trains them to be nice again. He's really amazing. Some of these dog trainers are great. They really are. And some of them aren't that expensive. I mean, after that, we go on the pack walks and give $20 because they get the socialization the dogs do. Because he does the meet and greet, goes in the circle and stuff. So he does really good for just and I do everything the trainer told me to do, and I've been doing that. But I would like him to drive a car, but they had this school for dogs that does do that is in Australia, and I think it was on TikTok. And it's a real thing. It might be on YouTube too. But they get a lot of views. And they make a lot of money because they're always posting about their dogs. And they take the stray dogs, and this guy just owns this land, and he just posts videos of his dogs that he's training, and he has people taping them while he's teaching the dogs to drive. And what he does in Australia after that is he adopts them out. He keeps them, and then people come and adopt them. after he taught him to drive and teaches him a bunch of stuff. He has to be rich. And I know he's getting money from Instagram, and I've seen him on TikTok too. And he's interesting enough to be TikTok famous and Instagram famous. And I think I've seen him on Snapchat too. But anybody that could teach a dog how to drive, I don't know how they're not at a million. I mean, I don't see him. He might be over here, but I don't see him that much over here. I think he's mainly TikTok and Instagram. Because you can just drop little videos over there and you can get, if they're, once they go viral, you get enough, you could get a lot of money. I don't think I go enough places to get that viral. I think the most interesting thing about me is I'm here. And that's it. I mean, we don't really go a lot of places. They just pretty much just like Chong. But I mean, one day I'm looking for that video. I did get, I think the one time, like 3,000 views because the squirrel that hates Chong. He could be not even bothering the squirrel, and the squirrel just starts hissing and doing all this weird stuff. And I taped it and I put it on Facebook, and I go, Chip says hello, and you just see the squirrel like, and his tail's wag. And it got a lot of views. I don't know why every squirrel hates my dog. The rabbits are fine with him. The ducks, with him being black lab, he's fine with ducks. And he's supposed to be chasing ducks, and he's fine with ducks. He's even good with little dogs. But these squirrels victimize him. Well, I never really, I don't hit him. I disciplined him with a squirt bottle. Oh, they like squirrels? I don't know. Chong doesn't seem like he likes these squirrels when they're hissing and acting crazy. He likes to chase them. That's all he likes to do. And we have a lot of squirrels where we live. There's a lot of trees. And then we have the small park, the big park. There's a lot of parks by us. And then there's that eagle that's by the metro parks, but they have some other kind of really big bird over there. And I think there might be an eagle by the small park too. For some reason, we just have unusual wildlife, which you wouldn't expect. So, Chong kind of lucks out in that area. We did see this crazy cat. It came out of the bushes, and when it was hissing, and thank God I have a good grip on Chong, I pulled him back, and he keeps sniffing by the bushes. I think the cat maybe died in there. I don't know. But all I know is there's a lot of insects in there, and I'm afraid of Chong getting something on him. And I don't think that the city we live in is going to chop all that down to see if the cat died in there. I don't know. And I was going to investigate, but I don't think I should. I don't think I should be touching dead carcasses of animals, especially with Chong and stuff. I don't need him getting weird bugs and stuff. I mean, I feel bad, but this cat came out of nowhere and scared the shit out of Chong. He was crying and jumped back. And then the next day we seen her, or him. It was a nice looking black cat too with green eyes. Those are my favorite. I've always wanted a black cat with green eyes. I don't think it'll ever happen. Maybe, I don't know. But I think they're the most attractive out of all the cats. I love Black Panthers. Those are some of my favorite big cats. Lions, I do like. I love all animals, but I want to say Black Panthers are my favorite. I know I can't have one as a pet because it's wild, but I would like to. But I know it's probably really illegal. And even if you're super popular, I think there's all kinds. You would have to get a lot of different licenses for that. Michael Jackson had to get like a zoo type thing going to have all the animals he had. That's why he literally built his own zoo because he had so many. He had to answer to so many people because they had to make sure the animals weren't going to get abused. So I don't think that's in my future, and I'm okay with it. I'll just go visit them at the zoo. But Black Panthers are my favorite, low key. I like them. I think they look the most majestic out of a lot of beasts. And I know they could be pretty nasty, but it's life. You gotta have your predators and you gotta have your others. It's the circle of life, just like in The Lion King. It is what it is. So, but I do like them a lot. I do like dolphins. I think dolphins are some of my favorite, and I'm sad that the dolphins have been having a. They've been having problems lately. I know that. I think they were talking about the bottles, like the plastic bottles we have, the inside that comes with the thing. It was with the turtles or whatever, the little tiny plastic things. It was getting around like some of the snouts and stuff. I mean, and it's sad because we need the dolphins. They help us out with the sharks. And honestly, those sharks can get pretty nasty. That's all I'm saying. They and we need them, so I know that they have global efforts to make sure they don't go extinct and their numbers get higher. So I hope that everybody that's working on that has good results because I try to support them as much as I can. I really do. I was raising money over Facebook for them for a while and trying to raise money because I feel it's important because we're not the only people live on the planet. And it's terrible when others have to suffer because of our the way we dispose of our garbage. I try to reuse things and I wish there was way more recyclable things. I really do. I know garbage is a big problem with the wildlife and with the ozone layer. They're saying with both, so I don't know. I'm not saying we're the problem. We're trying to solve the problem. There's like scientists working on this. They got environmental scientists that have this is their job. So you look I guess I feel a little better because there's environmental scientists involved. So our environment's probably gonna get better soon. And I'm happy about that. I mean, RIP to all the dolphins that suffered, but we can't let them go out of existence. We really can't. Because we only got one planet, and what are you going to do if it's not here? You're going to die. I mean, no matter where you're at in this argument, it's a win win for both sides. And honestly, shark populations are skyrocketing, and sharks are eating anything. Anything. They're eating seals, they're populating in a large amounts. Pretty soon, kids are going to be in the ocean swimming and have their legs literally, they're going to be attacked by sharks. And if they're going to go after seals and stuff that's not, they're eating whales. And if they're going to go after all these different kinds of stuff because they're hungry, oh, they are nasty. And if they're going to go after all these things because they're hungry, what's going to stop from eating a human? I feel bad for the surfers. I mean, we need our dolphins just for that basic reason. And I don't think people think about these things. I would not want to be on the surfboard having the day of my life to have big teeth coming and chewing my leg off. That would be terrible. So, but I've had a lot of fun in this conversation, and the husband is home, and probably dinner is here too. So, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. I'll try to get my regulars about this time. I do. They know I come in like around 6 or 7, so I'll be here for the readings. And I hope your friend, everything goes well with your crush. Okay, you're welcome. I'm always here to talk. And you guys have a good day.